Nerdrotic.com.
Welcome, everyone, to the Nerdrotic Nooner. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from San Diego, California, and Nerdrotic.com, and I have no idea what's going on in the real world. I sat and watched all of that last night for a while, and then I went, I need to be productive. I need life to go on. So I finished a video, which I don't know if I'll put out or not. Maybe I'll put it out after this live stream. It's a California video. It's probably ill-timed, but I don't give a shit. Because no matter what happens, I'm still in California and absolutely nothing changes in this clown state. So, hey, we shot down 16, but I think we still want to raise taxes. And the ballot 16, you want to be frightened. Just take a look at what that was. Proposition 16. And the one thing I'm grateful for, because I like to be grateful every time I wake up in the morning, I like to do a little gratitude list. And I'm like, I don't have to cringe at any California propositions anymore because I'm leaving. So there you go. Welcome, everyone. I'm so happy you're here. Let's talk about other shit. There's lots of other shit going on, including, by the way, need to start out before we get to you guys, which we will. I am so sorry for everyone in Europe and my brothers and sisters in the UK who are going to, they say they're trying to save your life, but apparently you're not essential, but Doctor Who is. A declining TV show, and that is being very generous. One that is, so listen, I hope it's just a month and then that's it. And then you're free. I have a feeling that's not going to happen, but that's what I hope for. I hope you all return to your lives. I hope, the British government takes care of you and compensates your businesses. Here, we don't get, compensation. And quite frankly, I'm okay with that to an extent because the compensation comes from us. Now, and I discuss it in my video a little bit. If there was the ability to, I don't know, start a class action lawsuit against Gavin Newsom and London Breed, those two individuals, and anybody else who locked our city down and devalued and destroyed my wife's business, sign me up. But if it's something that's going to come out of the coffers and not really affect them at all, but not everybody's in my position. And I understand that a lot of businesses should be compensated for being shut down against their will or open back up. I don't know. It's very complicated. And wow, do I know that. So let's see who's here. Yeah, I bet you the UK is pretty pissed off right now. I haven't talked to Az yet, but what a fucking clown show. Easy Does It, Surly Unicorn, Rob Atlas, America's Finest, Marco Antonio Checa Funke, Just Another Red Shirt, welcome. Me is here. Kenny Craig, Problem Being, and his wrench, thank you very much. Welcome from the UK. It must be late for you. Chris Persia, the Canadian wrench. Nat, your average nerd. Christopher Garrett, Mark, Dark Arnold, Rumo Greywolf, Mutageki. Is it Mutageki? I think so. If not, correct me. And David Loppin, Kenny Craig, Mark Lerzeth and his wrench, Bionic Bruh, and Neil Rushton, and Fingelfin's Man Crush. All right. Well, everybody's got to have a man crush. I remember briefly when Patton Oswalt was funny for a moment and he was Gatham for Statham, but that might have not have been a joke. You never know. Not that we're judging here because we don't do that kind of thing here at Nerdrotic. So we're going to start out with the UK just taking it in the shorts today. Doctor Who is still filming. Female 007 confirmed. Lockdown for a month. And I remember it wasn't too long ago where some ninny muggins here in the States were saying, we should have been more like Europe. Maybe not. Maybe not. Although our lockdown is coming again soon. Don't worry. I have taken in way too many hours of Gavin Newsom press conferences, and he dropped hint after hint after hint that the lockdown is a coming for us too. So it'll be a very lockdown Christmas, I believe. We shall see. We shall see. So it's been a couple days since I've live streamed. Last one was the Inquisition. I was working on a video. I worked all day yesterday, although you haven't seen it yet. And I've got to finish the studio tonight because it's in disarray again. Lady Greymaster was out with the sick kitty. So not a kid, not a kitty. And yeah, it's been quite a couple of days. So a lot of you have asked for a distraction. I'll try. I'll do my very best. So we'll start as people roll in with 007, a video I made a year and a half ago. It was at Comic-Con in a Motel 6 hotel room. One of my better performing videos, by the way. Talking about Lashana Lynch, talking about the masculine Bond. The masculine James Bond. I went over an article written by a female who much preferred the masculine James Bond, said leave it alone, don't F with it, but it looks like we're going to get hashtag #MeToo James Bond. Time's up, James Bond. James Bond franchise kills itself. Oh boy, there we go. And Lashana Lynch's character will inherit 007 title. Now, they didn't say there would be a male or female James Bond, but I think it was Barbara Broccoli or Broccoli. I don't know how you say her last name. Never did. Who said James Bond will always be male. But I think things change, and just looking at the Hollywood and the BBC and what they have been setting into motion, what they have left, it's going to be pretty woke. The James Bond franchise has killed itself off by confirming that Lashana Lynch's character is in the upcoming No Time to Die movie will inherit the title of 007. Instead of being a 008 or 009 or a different number, it has to be 007. Why? Why? You know the answer. I know the answer. Harper's Bazaar published an interview with Lynch with a headline that reads, Lashana Lynch on making history as the first black female 007. Oh boy. Yrsa Daly Ward, who wrote the article, also stated today on a still Saturday morning in August, Lynch is doing precisely that, chatting to me warmly and directly about her latest and surly career-defining role in No Time to Die. Oh, she's going to be surly. Awesome. The Bond franchise's 25th release, in which she stars as Naomi, the secret agent who inherits the 007 title while Bond himself is in exile. As probably a bad father. Later in the article, Daly Ward would add, we saw this in her nuanced, solid performance as a single mother and pilot, Maria, in last year's Captain Marvel. Nuanced? Is that what you call it now? Wow. I don't think she knows what that word means. In which she successfully stretched the bounds of what a hero is meant to be. And we will see it again in her outing as the first ever female 007. Okay, this is a lie. Lashana Lynch, does anybody even remember her in Captain Marvel now? Seriously? Was that a memorable performance? It was a superhero movie. It was a very bad superhero movie. The MCU's worst. I'd watch Dark World 20 times more than I'd watch Captain Marvel. I'd watch The Incredible Hulk and Dark World and Wasp and Ant-Man before I'd watch Captain Marvel again. Nuanced. Wow. See, this is why entertainment media might thankfully be one of the casualties of 2020. Nuanced. Jesus Christ. While the article doesn't offer any quotes from Lynch confirming that she will be 007, there is one that heavily implies she will be 007. Lynch stated, I am one black woman. If it were another black woman cast in the role, it would have been the same conversation. She would have to go through the same attacks, the same abuse. I don't think anybody has I don't have a problem with her being in the movie. I don't. It's that women are in James Bond movies, and there have already been black female spies in James Bond movies. Here's another problem. You have a lot of people writing about entertainment because there's just so many websites out there, and there's just so much conversation. And I think it just, there's only a finite number of nerds. So you're hiring people who don't do research anymore, don't know what they're talking about, especially when you're going to interview somebody from a Bond film, maybe you watch a couple of Bond movies, Google a couple of things. It sounds like there was no prep, whatever. I just have to remind myself that the conversation is happening and that it's part of something that will be very, very revolutionary, Lynch added. Okay, I hate to break this to you. Even if you are the female 007, it's not revolutionary because you're no different than Moneypenny in the new series. She was a spy too. She was black. She is black. So M was the boss, has been since the Pierce Brosnan days, or was before she died. You're not breaking any ground here, but go ahead and tell yourself that to make yourself feel better for pretending for a living, because that's where a lot of this comes from. They do, when you make obscene amounts of money pretending for a living, it's got to mess with you a little bit because you do a lot of traveling. You shoot on set, you go to third world countries sometimes to film, and you see people digging holes for water, and you're staying in a air-conditioned trailer or at the 1 5-star resort that's in town right next to just extreme poverty, and you probably got to work it out in your head that you're making the world a better place. You only are if you're making people laugh, if you're bringing joy, excitement, thrills, and it's fun. But if you think you're actually doing this to help people, I could tell you we can all live without you. Plus, there's so much entertainment out there. It's to the point where even the James Bond franchise is like a fart in the wind at this point. And they keep doing this, it'll be less than that. According to Harper's Bazaar, this comment came in response to a discussion about the rumors that Lynch's character would be taking on the role of 007. The rumors surfaced back in July 2019. The Daily Mail reported Lynch would play Agent 007. Their source claimed there is a pivotal scene at the start of the film where M says, "Come in, 007," and in walks Lashana, who is black, beautiful, and woman. Yes, and I did a couple of videos on it. It's a popcorn dropping moment. Bond is still Bond, but he's been replaced by a black female. Replaced. I tell you, okay, Tell you what, Bond franchise, big groundbreakers. Get rid of the white male Bond. Get rid of him. Star a black female. Call her Jane Bond 007. See how that movie does. I drop another $250 million. You believe in the cause. You believe in pushing things forward for black females. Then give her the same amount of money you gave Daniel Craig. Put the same amount of money you put into this movie. Give it the same amount of marketing and release it in the same amount of theaters. Oh, you can't. You can't. Huh. Because other than that, you're just another franchise who did another race, gender, whatever swap. So can the 60th franchise in a row that is breaking ground still be breaking ground? The same source would also claim Craig's James Bond would attempt to seduce Lynch's 007. The source elaborated. Bond, of course, is sexually attracted to the new female 007 and tries his usual seductions, but is baffled when they don't work on a brilliant young black woman. I promise you she'll be a scientist, because we need women in STEM, who basically rolls her eyes at him and has no interest in jumping into bed. Well, certainly not at the beginning. The source described the film as Bond for the modern era, who will appeal to a younger generation while sticking true to what we all expect in a Bond film. There are spectacular chase sequences and fights, and Bond is still Bond, but he's having to learn to deal with the world of #MeToo. The official 007 Twitter account would share the Harper's Bazaar article appearing to confirm Lynch as 007. Here's a look at No Time to Die, Lashana Lynch on the cover of Bazaar UK, Woman of the Year December issue. Yeah, I prefer Grace Jones. As her character in No Time to Die, Lynch commented, a character that is too slick. A cast iron figure? She's asking questions. She's being coy. That's completely against what I stand for. I didn't want to waste an opportunity when it came to what Naomi might represent. I searched for at least one moment in the script where the black audience members would nod their heads, tutting at the reality, but glad to see their real life represented in every project I am part of, no matter the budget or genre. The black experience and I'm presenting needs to be 100% authentic, she explained. It needs to be 100% authentic in a fake spy movie. Where Rami Malek is expected to, I don't know, go head to head with Daniel Craig in a fight. If you want an authentic spy movie, send Lashana Lynch's character for research. I don't know, places in Turkey, Pakistan. See how well that would go. Former Bond girl Trina Parks, who played Thumper opposite Sean Connery in Diamonds Are Forever, reacted to the rumors at the time, stating, Lashana is a great actress, but I don't really agree with her becoming 007. It's not about her color. A black James Bond, sure, but as a man. Which will come. Park continues, it's just another Bond. The spy code name 007 was written by Ian Fleming as a man. Miss Bond doesn't have the same ring to it. It doesn't. I think there are lots of movies already where you have a woman taking center stage, defeating men, and I like that, but I don't feel James Bond has to go there. It's been a tremendous franchise since the 60s, and they've always been innovators, not followers. They set a standard has remained classic. That has remained a classic film with a man as Bond. That's how I think it should stay, she elaborated. And by the way, rest in peace, Sean Connery, once again. Not only did Harper's Bazaar claim Lynch is playing 007, but they also claim that her role in the film is to confront stereotypes around race and gender and have persisted for far too long. Lynch stated, "I feel very grateful that I get to challenge those narratives." Okay. So you're going to use a narrative to change a false narrative to challenge a false narrative. That's like an inception of narratives. But there are, and yes, there is racism, sexism all over the world. I don't think James Bond's going to solve it, but by God, it's going to try. It's going to try. How did the NBA do? Did they solve racism? Just wondering. We're moving away from toxic masculinity, and that's happening because women are being open, demanding, and vocal, and calling out misbehavior as soon as we see it, she added. Lynch went on to state she plans to use her platform as a celebrity to change. She started, "We are not stick figures." What, actors? Who's we? Lashana Lynch, the big star, Lashana Lynch is going to be influential. She's an influencer now. Now we're in a time when artists have enough collective energy to evoke change. There's real work to be done. There are frank conversations to be had. A magazine cover is already pretty. The words don't have to be. On note, wow. And how many people are reading your magazine? Harper's Bazaar UK? I mean, actually buying it in the newsstand and reading it. She continued, if something felt misrepresented or inaccurate, for example, the dynamic between a mother and her child, or the way we might wrap our hair to sleep at night, I had to learn to speak up. I've been cast to tell an authentic story. That's what I'm going to do. Wow. Lynch would go on to claim her main job is her culture's fight. So she's going to pretend, make millions of dollars. I don't know. How much is she giving away? Is she helping her culture? I'm not talking about little bits of here to the charity. We talk about culture fight, but how much are you really into it? However, she also stated, as a newcomer to some of these spaces on a Monday morning, you're speaking up, making your point heard on set, and by lunchtime, you've got to get on with the job, energy pure and intact, so you can get your best work. And this is why Lashana Lynch will probably have a very short career. For one, I mean, you're in a franchise that might be dead and devalued overnight because you couldn't sell it to Netflix. And I've gone over this argument before, right? But Netflix, this franchise was put up for sale for $600 million. And they said no. The streaming services said no. They laughed it off. And this was right after the question was posed to the CEO of Universal and AT&T if they were interested in buying theaters. And they laughed that off too. But right after that, the blockbuster was immediately devalued. See, it's based on what you think it's going to make in a movie theater, which is not this constant anymore, which isn't this thing that's going to exist the way it did before. You know, I was looking over the California propositions last night, and I'm like, wow, these are all written before the COOF. There's before the COOF, after the, or during the COOF, whatever that's going to fucking end. And that's a different world. Didn't have to be, but it is. California and New York are largely to blame for the impending death of the movie theater. Will it last? It depends. If Hollywood can bail them out, or if they get a bailout from us, Who knows? That's going to have to be paid for at some point, though. Just with basic understanding of economics, we're spending money like a coke fiend in Vegas right now. And I don't think printing it I don't think it works like that. You know, been kicked out of 3 high schools, but I don't think just printing money works like that. Don't know how you're doing it in the UK, but when it comes to American movie theaters, there's going to be less, period. Do I think they're totally going to die? Depends. If we open up in March and things go full steam ahead, I think they could survive. There'll be a lot of movies coming out next year. But they couldn't get, they have $250 million into the movie before marketing. And I don't think they'll be spending money like that on 2-hour films. It's better spent on an entire series. You could have made 2 Mandalorians for that. Or half a season. No, a quarter of a season of Star Trek Discovery. Oh, shit. Which is, is it bad? Oh my God, is it bad? That last episode damn near broke me. It was so freaking dumb. So we have this. We have actors thinking they're out there pretending to change the world. Do you feel influenced by Lashana Lynch? Do you feel moved in any way? You probably feel moved. I feel moved not to watch this movie. If it wasn't for reviewing it, it would probably be a hard pass. Even though I like the director quite a bit. Cary Fukunaga, I think, is a rising star now. He's just a hired gun in this, so it's probably not going to be that impressive, kind of like Matthew Vaughn when he did X-Men First Class. But you know that director has like a lot more in him. Maybe because he was hanging around Bryan Singer. I don't know. What do you think? What do you guys think? We're going to talk about Doctor Who in just a second here. Space Monkey 0899 for $4.99. After this election, I will have no more patience for this kind of stupidity for $4.99. Yeah, I don't think we should. I don't think Tim Pool is wrong. There is a loser in this election, and it was the same loser in the last election. The mainstream media lied to you. They lied to you. And they don't know what they're doing. And there is a paradigm shift going on right now, and it's going to be a rocky road because we're going through paradigm shifts in everything. The comic book industry, the entertainment industry, the media. And these dinosaurs don't want to die. They don't want to die. Why do you think AT&T, bought Warner Brothers? They needed to stay relevant because they were a cable company and a phone company, and while they get other stuff going on, they need to stay in the game because everybody's unplugging, DirecTV and all that crap. And same goes with Comcast. And these companies tried to buy their way into survival. Funny story. You want to hear a funny story? We'll get to the full article, but this will crack you up. Disney's struggling right now, right? Disney's struggling. Fox, the part they didn't buy, the news part, is doing great. And it's partially due to the big fat check they got from Disney. Not that I like either one of them, but it's funny. It is funny. I laugh. And Stetson's gold for 50 UK pounds. Mike, thank you. That is, I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're ready for your lockdown, Stetson's gold. All I can say is I'm sorry. I feel terrible for you guys. A gift for you, good sir. I wish I could gift you freedom and a constitution. Ugh. I mean, as rough as it's been, I am still grateful for states' rights, even though I'm in a state that's insane, absolutely insane. But they shot down a proposition. That tells you how insane the proposition that was. California actually shot it down. Butter, thank you, good sir. And it's good to see you. It's nice to see Breeze smile. Oh, very surprised face there. Butter biscuit, 92 for $2. What's up? What's up with you? What's up with you? I'm chilling, man. Mrs. Nerdrotic is preparing to go back up to San Francisco as they board shit up. I don't know if that's a good idea. And like I said, I didn't even turn on the news. Didn't look at Twitter this morning. I'm like, I'm having a good day. I don't want to screw it up. So I prepared for the live stream. I worked on my video a little bit more. Did some behind the scenes stuff that I can't quite talk about yet. But things are going to rock and roll ahead here, folks. I ain't stopping. We've only just begun. Yeah. And, I've got I'm pretty excited. I'm talking to someone tomorrow about some stuff too. Got some exciting things coming up. By the way, quick program note. The Critical Drinker will be joining us on Friday Night Tights. And this is a big episode. And I'll tell you why it's a big episode. His book is being released. And we will go over all of that. But it was a few months ago, in the beginning of the COOF, I decided that I needed to up the game of Friday Night Tights a little bit. So I talked to Jeremy and we said, I want to get Drinker on. And I want to get Mahler on right after that. But the most important thing is this guy Az. I want to bring this guy Az in. And we're going to change the time. And, I put up a poll. Everybody wanted me to change the time so we can get you Brits in. And that's when things started rolling. And that first episode was with the Critical Drinker. So I think I want to thank him for that. That kind of just leveled the show up a little bit or a lot. And I thank him. Phoenix Tangent for $10. Whatever happens with the election, I'm content. I got the graphics card I wanted. A good dog ended up in my life. My family is healthy. There's this fantastic community here, and Texas is still red. Yeah. There are major problems with what's going on. And the only thing I'll say is this. And that's good. See, Phoenix Tangent is being grateful. And that's what I do. That's all I can do. We can't crawl into the fetal position. None of this black pill shit. Turn it into a suppository. No, I fucking hate that. I hate fucking black pills. Didn't even know what it was till like a year ago. Somebody told me like, are you going black pill? I'm like, I don't even know what that is. And I looked it up. I'm like, oh, you mean nihilism? Fuck no. Hell no. I have no time for that shit. I have no time for quitting. We have a lot of work to do. All I'll say is when one side cheats, the other side gets to cheat. And then both sides start cheating. And then everybody's fucking cheating. And that fucks everyone up who isn't cheating. Those of us who are going through our lives following the rules, making the world go around. The actual workers, the actual people of this country, this state over there in the UK. They're there to serve us. And they have completely forgot that on a lot of levels. Raven's Nest, welcome to the proto-molecule level. I appreciate you. And I was talking to my son, because while the adults are out there squabbling away, making fucking asses of themselves in some cases, our kids are watching. And I hate to sound like that guy, but I'm going to sound like that motherfucking guy. Our kids are watching. And not some judgmental NPC SJW fucking way. No, the real kids of the world, the ones who Lashana Lynch just said they made, the marketing team for James Bond said, well, this is for young people. I'm sorry, young people aren't into James Bond anymore. They're not. They're not even, young people are moving away from scripted entertainment. Do you hear me, Hollywood? Like completely away. Young people were latched on to Marvel, but I think that's about it. I think Marvel might be the last franchise. Might be the last franchise. And kids are moving to other shit. Video games. They're reading. You know what they're reading? Manga. They're reading manga because comic books, so which means they still want to read stuff like that. You're just, America isn't giving them what they want. So they're going to Japan, which is the companies over there are making millions of dollars. Every kid, see, I doubt any kid in my kid's current school is watching Star Trek Discovery, but I can tell you a large percentage of the boys have read My Hero Academia. If not, I mean like a vast majority. So that's where that's going. It's going to live streaming. Oh, and they're watching YouTube. They're watching, like I try to limit it, okay? But they're watching YouTube. Yeah, Nerdrotic Jr. was watching a Sports Wars video. He doesn't even like sports. Darth Gorbag for $5.55. A Nerdrotic is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to. You know what? I was watching that too. That's what I did. When I got tired of this shit last night, I flipped on the extended version of Fellowship of the Ring, and it was great. And I was watching some crappy downloaded version that's on my drive that I take with me wherever I go, and it was great. As usual, Gypsy Warrior, $4.99. Gary, I know they say you never go, and by the way, thank you, Darth Gorbag. Gary, I know they say you never go forward by going back, but is Doctor Who savable by bringing back David Tennant? In what way? If they end production on the TV show, erase the Timeless Children, although I still saw it, and got rid of Jodie Whittaker completely and decided to bring back David Tennant, but the thing is, it couldn't be just David Tennant. Russell T. Davies and David Tennant. It cannot be those two separate. Or Old Moffat at the very least. It depends on you, honestly. I don't think it's savable at this point. I think it's going to be a Doctor Who that will wallow in obscurity, not unlike... No, it'll probably be worse than the Dark Times because... You did have Americans into it back then as well. The passion is gone, though. The excitement is gone. And with the people who are still hanging on, they spend most of their time talking about us or attacking, you guys out there who don't like it anymore. And you don't hear them a lot like saying how much they love this thing because they know it's dead. Same goes for Star Trek. The exact same goes for Star Trek. You have people doing insane things to defend this show, and it's the same 5 people. Oh my God, this Twitter thing started on Friday where I started getting, it's the same 5 people, or it's Tuesday. It's the same 5 or 6 people freaking fill my mentions one day, and then they're gone with like a Saru Migo. Migo is not a toy line production. It is a specialty toy. It is no different than, I'm blanking on it now, those ships. Livestream brain fart. It's a specialty toy where all they have to do is mold the head and make a costume. It's very cheap to make. So yes, we're going to get a Michael Burnham and Saru Migo, but they also made, they make really random Migos, right? So they made a Stan Lee Migo. It's, I could probably have one custom made. It's not that hard. I mean, I love Migo. It's one of my favorite lines from when I was a kid. But so the first thing they think of is me when like, look, here's a toy line. I'm like, it's not a toy line. I'll show you a toy line. Go to the Galoob or whatever. That's the first run for Star Trek, The Next Generation. And Playmates. Go to the Playmates. Look at all the ships. There was, 10 to 12 figures a line with 3 or 4 ships that were filling the shelves and Targets at the time. That's a healthy franchise. A healthy franchise is not a one-off Mego. Sorry, guys. Hate to break that to you. But yeah, I don't know. Gypsy Warrior, I don't. What they need to do is bring in a new writer, a new doctor, and I think the only feasible way is to retcon the Timeless Children. They'll never get rid of Jodie Whittaker's run. And I always said, if they didn't mess with canon, that's a run I could just ignore and I could go on to the next one. If it's not woke, I can just forget that run existed. But they wanted to make sure you couldn't. So they did that specifically because they knew they sucked. They knew they had nothing left. But Chris Chibnall wanted to cement his legacy by altering canon. Our month-long lockdown number 2 ended up being 3 months. Java Bean in Australia for $2.99 Australian. Yeah, he is not wrong. I talked to him a couple of times during that on my members stream for Java Bean. Yes. And that was a lockdown. You had to show. I mean, this shit of showing papers, that is a nightmare. That is a dystopian nightmare. Thomas Nickerson for $10. Here's some cash for the kitty coming from a cat lover for $10. It was a kitty. I meant to say kitty, but you know what? I'll pass that on to Lady Gravemaster. I had a cat. My cat's name was Zorro. He lived 18 years. Loved that guy. But when he died, I said, no mas, no more cats. No more cats. He's buried in my backyard. I got to remember to move him when I move. That's going to be fun, digging up my old cat. All right. We've got another article to go over. And this is concerning the COOF in the UK. And it's just one little line in here. I don't want to go over like the COOF too much. It's probably depressing enough to hear about this stuff. You all know you're about to be locked down. So England set to enter 1-month national lockdown as COOF cases surge. Cases. By the way, this is going off their science. They said potentially 4,000 people a day could die. Here it is right here. One scientific model predicted that without urgent action, the UK could register 4,000 deaths per day. I hope not. We'll be watching. We've heard numbers like that before. If it happens, that's horrible. But here's the thing here's the thing. It's like, yeah, COOF. Boris Johnson, disappointment. Big disappointment. The government confirmed later in the evening that filming and TV shoots will be able to continue. Are you fucking shitting me? What prioritizes them over, say there's a business that, say you work in a metal shop and you can prove that you like all stand away from each other. What if you're in a garage? I mean, they're saying that the latest measures mean that any cinemas, theaters, and entertainment venues that weren't already closed will now need to close. On Twitter, Culture Secretary Oliver Dowden said the changes mean people should work from home where possible, but where there is not possible, travel to a place of work will be permitted, e.g. this includes, but not exclusive to, elite sport played behind closed doors, film and TV productions, telecom workers. He added that, I'm sorry, UK, you can shut Doctor Who down. I think it's too risky. I think it's just, I'm thinking about the first female doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, who we will lovingly call Dr. Karen Safety. I think we should shut it down. Wow. He added that officials will be updating with more details for specific sectors in coming days, but BFI CEO Ben Roberts confirmed COOF secure film and TV production is permitted under the new guidelines. Whew. You want to talk about elitism just on display. There's going to be a point where people are going to say enough. I think we've started to see that. But I think that's nothing. Hang on. Making sure we're not shadow banned today. So give me just a second. It's been happening on live streams again, magically, right around election. That's good. We're not. We are not. So, I mean, how does that make you feel? That enrages me. Just hearing that is effing ridiculous. And what's up with Boris? Like, I don't know. I don't know the guy too much. So I don't know that much about him other than he's got crazy hair. Yeah, we could already see that there's I forgot. I didn't read that red headline till it's too late. But yeah, we're staying away from that. Ridiculousness going on over here as well. I don't know what to tell you. If you got good television, that might be good news, but you're not even going to get good television. So what's the point? But the thing I say, if it's that deadly, 4,000 deaths a day. But you're going to feel comfortable. Something doesn't add up for me. James Bond is a man. This Janet Bent says cleaner Ben for 5 pounds. Agreed. James Bond is a man. If you want to create a character, create a new female character, give her a new 00, spin off the franchise, you make more money. That's why we know you're full of shit. And we've always known you're full of shit. Because if it was about doing things different, paving new paths, breaking new ground, well, certainly you would do it smart. You would create a new character in that world. And then you can have both characters. But that's never what it was about. It was about simply replacing. Now, is it all because of wokeness? No. Percentage of it is laziness and just being out of touch. And that's the first sign that your industry isn't relevant anymore. And Hollywood's scared to death of that. They're always scared to death of that. But they're really scared to death right now. Fred W. Manzo, thank you for the $2.99. I appreciate it. I'm going to get to my drive here. So, and honestly, I don't know if Doctor Who, we heard a rumor that it was filming from a makeup artist. I haven't heard anything beyond that. We know we're getting Series 13. We believe it's going to be the first female Doctor, played by Jodie Whittaker's last season. And I think as more time goes on, that just becomes more and more true. It was just a rumor when I reported it. But considering that it might be, so if they start filming now, And everything's going to take twice as long, and that's with the inexperienced staff. And then we have twice as long because of the COOF. And I don't know how it is over in the UK. I heard one estimate that everything's going to cost, well, a lot more money because of the restrictions, somewhere upwards around 30%, which is going to pad all the costs, take more time, and we'll see. Maybe they'll figure out, maybe they work out a system to get it filmed faster. You know, it's funny how they've been filming movies faster nowadays, but Doctor Who gets slower. It gets much, much slower. And, oh yeah, people are still pissed off about it. I know they're going to start the watch-alongs again, probably because the Time Lord Victorious is only playing to the Doctor Who fans who are left, and that's not paying for shit right now. I don't know how things look after another month of lockdown in the UK. I know California couldn't afford that. In my video, Gavin Newsom said a month ago, and repeated this, that there 44% of California's small business are on the brink of closure. Is that 44% of what's left? It has to be, because we've already lost a third. Thousands. Huge transfer of money going on right now. And this is what happens when, and everybody's feeling it. And I'm sure there's some people in California going, I don't know how this happened. This is what happens when you always vote for the same people, and the same people come in and do the same things. And these same people, and I know some of you out there are union people, and you're backed by unions, and you're all rah. They have representation. Independent contractors, independent businessmen and women don't. And that's the way we like it. But this is how you get steamrolled. And this is why it's really good to take the time to read some of these propositions like this one. Do I have it over here yet? I'll read it to you. So there's a law in the books. So they tried to make this sound like you're banning affirmative action. That's what they called this, banning affirmative action. That's not exactly what it was. See, we cannot discriminate in this state. When I hire someone, I hire them when I did hire someone, I hired a woman for here at Nerdrotic. But at my shop, I hired many men and many women. And I am not allowed to look at their skin color and consider that in any way, shape, or form, their sexual preference, and I don't even assume it. My hiring practice was, is this the best person for the job? And that's all I based it on. And you know what? It just so happened that I hired, my first hire was a black man. My second hire was an Asian woman. My third hire was a gay Latino man who turned into my manager. Puerto Rican man, white woman, Ecuadorian? No, Salvadorian. Sorry, my bad. Salvadorian woman and another Asian woman. And that's just how it happened. It was that person came into the store. I kind of liked them. They ended up hanging out for a long time. I'm all, hey, you hang out here all the time. You want a job? You want to work? And they said, yeah. And they worked out. Some didn't. So here's our law. It didn't pass, but it's Proposition 16. Allows diversity as a factor in public employment, education, and contracting decisions by the state. Permits government decision-making policies to consider race, sex, color, ethnicity, or national origin in order to address diversity by repealing constitutional provision prohibiting such policies. Yeah. Or for one, I don't think the California state offices are really practicing any racism. I just don't. And it's because it's against the law. And thankfully it got crushed because this was going to factor into how they picked, kids for school and stuff. It's insane. It's insane that we're virtue signaling legislation now. It's gotten so into the culture that it's just like, oh, and people are tired of it. And I don't think nothing was ever going to be fixed by yesterday or today or whatever the results are, no matter what the results are. And I know none of you knew that. I know all of you knew that. Sorry. All of you knew that. I misspoke. And yeah, there's still a lot of work to be done. And that was, and it was going in a very good direction prior to the coup. And I think a lot of stuff happened after the coup because it was a opportunity to roll things back to 2016 and roll things back and not in a good way. And it was allowed to happen. So it's like Rahm Emanuel says, you never let a good crisis go to waste. Also, since we're calling back 2020 so much today, with the hanging chads and all that stuff. It's been a while since I talked about our buddy George. George R.R. Martin. Hard at work on the Winds of Winter. Oh, no, he's not. He's been blogging about the Jets, blogging about the Giants, a little bit about the election, talking about his bookstore. But it's been 20 years since the release of A Storm of Swords, which is the best book in the Song of Ice and Fire series. It's the book with the red wedding. It's the book with the red wedding. It was released in 2000, 20 years ago. And he released a book. George released a book. No, it wasn't Winds of Winter. You can get the illustrated version of A Storm of Swords. I believe it's $60, $40, $60, something like that. You could probably get a signed version. There's George right there. And yeah. If you go to a site, there's a little link. If you want to get it, get an autograph version. He's excited about it. He hasn't said a word about Winds of Winter in months. He said it was hard at work. And then all of a sudden I noticed he started blogging because when he was hard at work, he wasn't blogging as much, but now he's blogging all the time. And I have a feeling, well, I said straight up, this series is not finishing in my video. Now I'm starting to think we might not see Winds of Winter. I'm getting there. I don't think we might not see this book. Oh, George. Yeah, see, there it is. Hang on. There's him. I'm going to blog about the Jets, and then I'll blog about Wild Card. Then I'll blog about the Jets. And then this is, remember Game of Thrones? That's from the pilot that was cut. That's the original Illyrio. And then writing in a shared world and blogging about the Jets. And then he talked about voting. Ain't finishing, folks. Sorry to report that. They are hard at work on Lord of the Rings, apparently. And half of the show has been shot. We could talk about that in a second. Corey Timmigan for $5 Australian. 007 has been my biggest inspiration through life, as well as presented gentlemen willing to get his hands dirty. Franchise's demise is crushing. Get effed. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you guys. It sucks. It fucking sucks. The thing is, I think hopefully, I mean, the one thing we can hope for is, again, what was said earlier in the super chat is we found each other. We found other stuff to do. We found other forms of entertainment. We've managed to laugh through all this and mock a lot of the stupid shit. And believe me, there's some stupid shit to mock here in just a moment with DC trying to go full Marvel with their gender swapped characters that are cringe. I know everybody else has gone over, but I've kind of held back so I can go over it in a little bit. And yeah, it's been a while since my Kibblesmith video. We haven't heard much from Kibblesmith. He's probably whinging about the Orange Man on Twitter. But yeah, it's Fred W. Manzo. Thank you for the $2.99. James Bond going down is a massive blow. I'm a huge fan of the franchise, and it's just another feather in their cap, and that's all they wanted, and they got it. And the only thing is, they haven't been able to release it, and I think this is a good thing. The more the film gets delayed, the more it's going to hurt it. Because look at it logically. If theaters open, it will be opened in a year where we'll get just release after release after release, and they'll be tripping over each other. And so much will get lost in the shuffle. And quite frankly, the franchise hasn't been great. It hasn't been great. Casino Royale, all-time classic kick-ass movie. Everything after that, meh. I mean, not terrible. Just usually, and it's not like Bond's always consistent, but they always follow like a stinker up with a good one, or an average up with the good one. And it's just been very average, and Bourne Identity, just drab and not fun. They need to, and this doesn't sound fun. Wow. Come on, kiddo. Let's go to the movie, and Nerdrotic Jr., don't you want to come and see a movie where James Bond's replacement tells him to stay in his lane? Can't wait to get some popcorn and spend some time with my son and watch Lashana Lynch tell James Bond to stay in his lane. Because she's thinking about specific members of the audience instead of the audience. She wants to make sure there's a scene in her Bond film where all the black people will nod because you're a hive mind. And by the way, she's British. So her experience ain't the American experience. And it's an individual experience. And her experience right now is being on the cover of Harper's Bazaar. Life must be rough. It's bizarre. It's still a magazine, but Southeastern Kaiju for $5. Hail, Gary. Revisited Warehouse 13 instead of the election coverage. Wow. Seems like sci-fi from a distant era. Such a contrast to the woke garbage today. Oh, yeah. You could say that about a show that was released 5 years ago. I'm watching Lord of the Rings last night, and I'm like, oh, they'll never even get close to this. They should stop production, because they're going to have to fundamentally change that to work it out in their heads. Not mine, not yours, theirs. It's almost like we need new creatives. We need new entertainment. We need to recycle out some of that old 20th century model. I thought it was common knowledge months ago that her character was given the 007 handle after after Bond resigned. I remember hearing that months ago. 200-watt studio for $5. Yes. And they mentioned it in the article, but it wasn't outright confirmed, and it still isn't, by the way. It still isn't, but it looks to be the case. Because they were being coy about it. I heard the character was going to die. That's what I heard. I heard the character croaks about halfway through the movie. And that's what sets Bond on his way. Like he has a hard time with her, and then they kind of get together, and then she dies. Shiva Vareen for $4.99. 007et should be the title. Yes. I am very fond of my hashtag, the Me Too with the 007. Yeah. Nicholas R for $5.99 Australian. James Bond. Michelle, a.k.a. Michael Obama. And he's laughing. No comment. No comment. But remember, she's nuanced. Her nuanced role from Captain Marvel. Groundbreaking stuff. Groundbreaking stuff. Oh, shit. I'm just watching what's going on. This is why we just keep talking about entertainment. You know, sorry. But it's crazy right now. I'm keeping an eye on it out of this eye. But as I said in the beginning here, because we have states' rights, think about it. Is life going to change for me in California that much? No. Now, there is a possibility the rest of the country could know what it's like to live in California. That's a possibility. But no, not really. Not really. And it doesn't change how I feel about shit. Last Jedi still sucks. Star Trek Discovery still sucks. And we'll see. Again, it's pop culture, baby. That's where this is, because it's always been bigger than that. It always has. That's why I you know what? Thanks to you guys. Thanks to you guys. I feel a lot more free on this channel to talk about whatever the hell I want. So, I could do that without alienating most people. I think I've worked on that pretty well. So somewhat, I don't know, but when I occasionally release the California video, remember that's specific to me. I mean, it's specific to, like, these are consequences that happen to one family based on some local politicians' decisions here in this state. It has really no effect on the national scheme or anything. It's just one story that happened to one family, and believe me, we're one of many, 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 many that are getting screwed by the state right now. And they're moving right along. So quick, just little bit of a spoiler for the video. Somebody emailed me about a week ago, and one was nice and one was not, right? So one, I think it was a DM. I can't remember his email DM. One was like, hey, did you see this? Because you said Gavin Newsom really hadn't done anything for small business. Well, here it is. And then the other one was, Gavin Newsom's doing stuff for small business. Dummy. Here it is. And it was the same thing. So what did he do? $1,000 tax credit for rehiring. That's his big small business plan. Extend existing loans that are based on federal PPP money and other federal funds. So extend loans, money you have to pay back. And you get a tax credit if you rehire an employee while you're working at limited capacity. So you can only have 25% of your customers from before into your store and only 25% of the people, but then they want you to rehire employees. And then, and only then, will they give you a $1,000 tax credit once. That's their big rollout to save small business. It wasn't even half-assed. It's so half-assed. It's so half-assed. It's clear that they could not give a fuck. And it's a slap in the face. It's total slap in the face. It's half measure. And I mean, they leave the comments on during his press conferences sometimes. Those are funny. Those are hilarious. And you got to go to like the little news sites, and there's only 200 people watching, but it's people just freaking ripping them. And it makes me laugh, and it's nice. But after, watching all this and then seeing that they're putting more mandates on, it just makes us feel better about our decision, which was utterly life-altering. We can't afford it at all. We can, but it's just not advisable. But like I said early on, there's lots of hints that we're going to lock down again. Like I would say within 3 or 4 weeks, they might start seriously talking about it again, which is a complete bummer. But I don't know if I will. I got to be careful what I say here, but I booked my tickets. Hope to see you in Vegas. Nick, lean for $2. We got our room booked. I'm going. I'll be there. 9th through 13th. That's a Wednesday through a Sunday. So I'm going to get there later in the day Wednesday. I'm going to leave here Wednesday morning and get there. And I mean, I don't know what it might just be some of us rolling around Vegas and walking around. I'm going to get us. I got to be careful what I say publicly, but I'm going to get us a place, a dwelling that we can hang out at. And you know what? Wear our masks and all that shit, right? Fat Thor for $1.99. Hi, Gary. When is the Vegas meetup and where? It is on. We don't know where. It's just in Vegas, and it's going to be on the 9th through 13th. So that hasn't changed. It's the same dates as Star Trek Las Vegas. That has not changed. And I will let you know where the meetup place will be. It will be in Vegas. I won't make you drive a million miles. You might have to Uber there. Bird of Prey for $2. Bird of Prey 5. Kapla, Gary. Hail all. Exozone chances. None. Yeah, I can't do it. Doomcock had to delay the last one. I'm going to have to delay this one. I'm ridiculously behind on work. And I have to finish some, not YouTube stuff. Real life stuff. Joseph Yoli for $7.99 Australia. But I think next week, Bird of Prey 5. It depends. I take it day by day, but yeah. It's okay. Joseph, I'll get to you. I worked all day on a Clownifornia video and I was going to release it yesterday. I'm like, God, it's election day. And it's like sucking the oxygen out of everything. Right. And then I'm like, well, my video's not really about the election in any way, shape, or form. Doesn't bring it up. There is a case. So, again, to spoil it a little bit, a judge has limited Gavin Newsom's powers temporarily. So yes, day before yesterday, a judge limited Gavin Newsom's powers. I think he's going to appeal and win easily. It's no problem. But throughout that video, which starts out by talking about limiting his powers, the reason the judge overturned it is because Gavin Newsom last minute decided, I'm going to make up a bunch of new polling stations overnight that there's going to be 100 more places you can go vote, and he just did it. He just did an executive order, which is his 28th since the coup, 28 executive orders that bypass all legislature or anything. Now, none of this shit's going to get stopped here. Okay. So I don't know why he does it, but there's one judge who keeps on trying to stop him. Then Gavin finds a friendly judge to turn that over. But it's within that you find out that he's just been willy-nilly making stuff up. And even both parties, by the way, are pissed at this point at him here in the state. He's pissing off both parties in the state. Just to let you guys know, what the lay of the land is here. He is overreaching like a maniac. Now, he's not as bad as Michigan, but he's getting there. And so he got stopped briefly. Joseph Yole for $7.99 Australian. You helped me get through Game of Thrones finale and got me into The Expanse. Don't listen to celebs talk, even if you agree with them. How's the move? It's going pretty well. I think we have, I have a neighborhood narrowed down in my head a little bit. And Mrs. Nerdrotic is doing okay. That's the most important thing. Mikey Gussler, but thank you. I appreciate it. We're at Game of Thrones. Fuck. You know, I want to be excited about House of the Dragon. I do. Because it kind of sounds like they're doing everything right. They have experienced showrunners on this with a good director. And it could be interesting, but it takes place in a world I don't give a shit about. It's the same problem with The Mandalorian. By the way, yeah. I guess there's some Mandalorian rumors out there. Peter DeRosa for $4.99. Exozone, will there be a new episode? Could use some of that amazing show right now about during these crazy times. Hail DC and Gary. Yeah, it's a possibility for next week. If I can squeeze it in this week, I'll try. Okay. Tell you what, Peter and Bird of Prey 5. I mean, because this is how I live my life. I kind of do shit on the fly. We'll see how my video does and how the next video does. And if they do okay, then because when I live stream, I essentially got to take a day off of recording videos, which is fine, which is totally fine. If I had my preference, if said there was a gun to my head, said you got to choose one, it would be live streaming. But yeah, I'll try. I really will. Anxel 493 for $5. Gary, is Lady Gravemaster okay? She is okay. One of her kids was sick, pretty sick, not coof. Kid okay now, so we're good. Canadian Highlander, but she's. I gave her the week off, and she's kind of back, but not fully back yet. Canadian Highlander for 10 Canadian pesos. Little late to the party, but congrats, Gary, on 300,000. Many thanks for being the awesome person you are. Oh, stop it. You guys are awesome. I am just a regular dipshit with a microphone. Keeping me sane since the Game of Thrones debacle. Have some coffee on me. Shout out to Mr. Canuck Chris Persia. Shout out to Chris Persia, by the way. Love you, man. Good wrench. I need to drink some water. Oh, shiza. Just leaked right all over my crotch. If I stood up right now, it looked like I'd wet my pants. This fasting will dehydrate the shit out of you. Nathaniel Larson for $10. Gary, what is scary is that California is almost 50-50 on Prop 16. Wow. 46 that voted yes are racist. Also, creepy dementia Joey will be our next president. Maybe. I don't know if that's the case or not. I don't know if that's the case. It looks like they've stopped some counting in a state. It's 2000 all over again. Yeah. My biggest worry is that we're going to get what we haven't gotten over the last few months are a lot of federal mandates. And I think depending on who's in office, I think we will. I could be wrong. We'll find out. Marty for 20 concerning the coof. Marty, thank you for the 20 Canadian pesos. Chin up, Gary. The comics industry in print and on blogs is far bigger than you might assume. And a lot of them are hungry, starving artists. People are discussing Spawn and Hellraiser now. There will be something for us. Oh, Marty, I am fully aware of how big and small the comic industry is, buddy. Thanks. But yeah, yeah, it's not as big as it was. It's not as big as it was. And it's good that kids are discussing Spawn and Hellraiser. I just don't know what kids you're talking about, because the kids that I have been around, because I have kids, don't. Now, my kid is into comic books because his dad owned a comic shop. So he loves Todd McFarlane. He's more into DC now, but no, kids are reading more manga than American comic books. And that's still comics. That's good. As long as they're reading, I'm happy. And if that's the way they go, that's the way they go. That's what happens. Sucks for my superheroes that were worth billions of dollars that probably won't be now, because they are just gender swapping and race swapping them into oblivion. They're not going to matter. There's so many carbon copy. When you copy the original too much, each time you do that, you devalue the original. You devalue to the point where Batman is getting devalued. Fucking Batman. Like the surest thing of sure things is Batman. And Spider-Man. Look, remember, the shitty Spider-Man movies made a lot of money. They made a lot of money. Not Spider-Man money, but they still made a lot of money because they're Spider-Man. But yeah, we'll see. Wolfsbane 00 for $5. And yes, there is a hungry comic book market still out there that wants to buy shit. They're just not getting provided with the right stuff. Wolfsbane 00 for $5. I'm afraid of Sony's acquisition of Crunchyroll. They are known for their censorship. I would be too. Anytime your thing gets acquired by a big thing like Sony, I'd be worried. It's pretty much the beginning of the end. Is Marvel Comics better today than it was in 2008 and 2007? The answer is clearly no. And it's been owned by Disney for a decade. And it's just gone nothing but down. Peter Capaldi for Doctor Who showrunner, says Douglas Nelson for $2. That'd be great. That would be great. Wolfsbane 00 for $5. No, David Tennant would not help. They would probably find a way to attack and belittle him. His version of the Doctor did a lot of messed up stuff. Yes, complicated messed up stuff that they now judge because we're judging plots in old stories. It's ridiculous. And they have been embarrassed about Classic Who forever. That's my insider told me that they're embarrassed by a lot of it. But they're certainly loving it now because it's making them, that's where their money is being made. Keeper of the Kraken for 2 Canadian pesos. What's up? Classic Who is my warm blanket, my comfort food. It is mine as well. Mine as well. God, I haven't had to have, how long have I been fasting? I lost count. I think I'm on day 9. I think I can actually have 3 meals. I haven't yet. So I can count on one hand how many meals I've had in 9 days. But I did drop, I dropped 10 unnecessary pounds in like 5 days. Sorry, forgot to add, tell the American people one of the 3 branches still is working on that ain't bad. Mars Attacks. Nathaniel Larson for $5. That's right. Ain't still working on that. Ain't bad. Mars Attacks. I had to phrase that right. Doesn't matter for $5. I love gender race swaps in films. Can't wait for diverse remakes of Downfall and Silence of the Lambs. P.S. Love your channel from Lockdown UK. Doesn't matter for £5. I love it. Yeah. Me too. Hashtag me too. I can't wait for the first female-led world war. That's what I'm looking forward to. Hollywood is a hollow shell of what it once was. Indeed. T went for $4.99. I agree. Ross Gecko for $5. Writing in to let you know that I unsubscribed. All you do is whine, man. You have great taste, but at certain point, the negativity gets tiring. Thank you for chiming in, Ross Gecko. I appreciate it. Cheers. Good luck to you. Good luck to you. Max Rottenstein, welcome to the Geloja level. That Nobody Guy, welcome to the Geloja level. Fat Steven Seagal beat up Rianne Johnson for 2 Canadian pesos. Hail, Gary, do you think DC's whistle can save us? Maybe. I don't know. What is Doomcock's whistle? You got to film. Well, I don't know if you want to fill me in on that one. I might not want to say that because that could get clipped. Fat Steven Seagal. His whistle could save it. The button. No, the button won't save us. It'll just end it. Elizabeth Lyons, welcome to the proto-molecule level. No good for 10 Canadian pesos. Really appreciate what you do and keeping a positive vibe when you can. The news is exhausting. You're a good soul. I try, yes. And the news is exhausting. It truly is. Andre Fernandez for 50 Argentinian dollars. Hey, Gary, have you watched Truth Seekers? It's a new comedy with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost about paranormal stuff. Not incredible, but nice. I'll check it out. If it's a parody of there's some comedy gold to be had there if it's done right. Eric Steller, thank you for the $5. You retracted your message. I'm sorry to hear that. Eric O'Sullivan for $25. Eric, if you got a question, you can just pop it in there. That's cool. Sincerely, I believe in what is holding George R. R. Martin back. Modern editors and Me Too, A Song of Ice and Fire excels in victimizing. One constant post-2016 is victimizing of women is off his menu. I just imagine every draft getting refused greenlit. Yeah, Eric, I mentioned that in my video, and that's what I believe is the number one culprit behind the delay. It's not he's writing slow and he writes like a garden. He would have been done by now, but there was a moment in 2015 where he said he had a twist and he had to rework it, which means reworking the entire book, by the way, to remove all the victimization of women, to make it Me Too, Time's Up, A Song of Ice and Fire. Yep. I think that's what's holding it up. I think the minute it comes out, we'll hear how racist and sexist George is. Although he has been, he's the furthest thing from it. It's fucking ridiculous. He's been writing in characters for 20 years. The tropes that you see are absolute tropes now. He was actually breaking ground on that shit 20 years ago. Because if you look at this big sprawling fantasy story, we're following a little person, a little girl, a lot of women, a freaking cripple. And the archetypes die early on. The character arc, like the hero, Ned Stark dies. And the big villain, the Conan of the Barbarian, Khal Drogo, dies in a dumb way. But he makes it work. It makes you care about the characters because it doesn't disrespect. It's not shitting on men. That's it. It doesn't shit on men. It doesn't shit on anything, really. It's a horrible world. I wouldn't want to have a coffee with anybody in it. And quite frankly, as time goes on, I'm still into it. It's something I've been into, but it'd be hard to get somebody into it now because I think people are kind of fed up with fucking nihilism. Just fed up with it. So I don't think you're wrong, Eric, at all. Well said. Thank you for the $25. I appreciate it. Eric Stuller for $5. Better bass player, Geddy Lee or Steve Harris? Ooh. I'm going to say Geddy Lee. Geddy Lee. Just because I think Geddy Lee's better. I have no science behind that at all. And the Tweaky Kid for $9.99. Thanks for the distraction. What if RT, and you're welcome. You're welcome. What if Russell T Davies and Tenet came back to Who, but go to the non-canon Bond route, Never Say Never Again, and redo one of Peter Cushing's films? Maybe. And that's what I heard they might do. remember the rumors of Yates. Oh, it's not Peter Yates. It's David Yates. The director of the Harry Potter films was supposed to do a Doctor Who movie. If you wanted to start a franchise and disconnect it from current Who canon with Russell T. Davies and David Tennant and a good director, maybe, I mean, yes, they should have done that years ago. I don't know why they didn't do that years ago. If they did that during the 50th anniversary, they would have made all the money. But coming back and doing that now is it reeks of desperation. But listen, I'm for anything that would genuinely save Who. If the BBC gets rid of Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker, and it's not like we need to make compromises. We're talking about basically one or two elements here. The show has always been this fun, thrilling thing, and it's never been fucking racist or any of that shit, ever. We just want the show to be what it was. And as far as diversity and inclusion, do what you want, but you got to keep your main character a male. Doesn't even have to. This is the one character you can go, it doesn't need to be a white male at all. At all. It just needs to stay a male. That's how ridiculous this is. And this is the one franchise you could have spun off with the female lead that's already worked once before. Like incredibly with the Sarah Jane Adventures. So it was a proven commodity, and Class failed because they got the wrong person to write it, and it was just garbage. And it was garbage because you were thinking diversity first before story. That's why Class failed. It'll always fail. Woke cannot create. It can only destroy. Death Pale Rider for $5. Instead of a hive mind, perhaps an echo chamber? Maybe. Well, yes, but not with all women. No. With some political circles, yes, absolutely. 200-watt studio for $2. 007 is the days she's not able. 007 are the days she's not able to work a month, says 200-watt studio. And I can count on you, dude. Thank you for the $2. The Twinkie Kid for $4.99. Forget choke me. Glad California Proposition 16 got choked. Bitty, 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 bitty. Yep. It was crazy. Fighting Blaze for $5. I'm sure you were already asked, but how do you like season 2 of The Mandalorian? I've watched one episode and I thought it was an 8 out of 10. It's too bad that somebody unsubscribed before I got, I guess I'm just negative about everything, but that's okay. That's okay. It happens multiple times a day, by the way. And I pick up subs sometimes too. So thank you. So I did a review, Fighting Blaze. It's on Nerdrotic Live. You can go check it out over there. It's a big, long one where I talked about the problem I have with the show isn't the show's fault at all. It's the Disney trilogy. The Disney trilogy is a big shadow over Star Wars right now, and that's undeniable. It's absolutely undeniable. The Last Jedi sucks. Rise of Skywalker sucks. The Force Awakens sucks. Everything about it sucks. They fucking destroyed two of my favorite characters and two of the best characters in pop culture. And over again, I see Luke Skywalker sucking soy milk out of a titty and Harrison Ford dying a bad father. But if you put the show in isolation, are they trying to genuinely make things better without coming out and apologizing? Because they're trying to ride the fence. They want the best of both worlds because they don't want to piss off. They don't want people thinking they're bending the knee to the fandom menace, which they're already getting accused of, by the way. They're already being called transphobes because they cast and kept Gina Carano in the show and possibly Rosario Dawson, which I credit them for. And we need to credit people when they do shit we like and they show fortitude like Gina Carano. And, but does it affect how I watch the show? No. So I thought the show was an 8 out of 10 episode, but it's nothing extraordinary at all. Like it's the same, absolutely the same thing you saw from season 1 without picking up the game at all. And they actually repeated a plot from season 1. The dragon fight at the end, I thought it was fine. It's a TV show, so I thought it was fine. But what you're finding is Star Wars fans are expecting Star Wars. And my main criticism is the music. I just think it's awful. I think it just doesn't fit. I think it's awful. I know what the composer's trying to do. And I've said, I reviewed every episode. You can find them if you care to. Season 1, I reviewed all the episodes here on the main channel. I'm going to review season 2 on Nerdrotic Live, because that's kind of what it's for. It's for live stream reviews. And I thought it was okay, but I don't care about Star Wars anymore. The most excited I've been about Star Wars was stealing my son's video game because it didn't fit in his room. And I got to fit it in my room. But I've been playing the shit out of that thing. It's so fun. It's the old vector graphics Star Wars. But when I hear use the Force, Luke, I'm all, oh, he's a quitter. And that's not the show's fault. I think Jon Favreau wants to make things better. I genuinely believe that. Jon Favreau will not be telling you or I to fuck off because you voted for somebody or you supported somebody. He's going to try to make the best Star Wars, and he's got to do it in an environment where I'm sure he's getting it from all sides. Bob Iger writes notes for this fucking show. How annoying is that? I mean, absolutely. And then, of course, there's Dave Filoni, and then there's Kathleen Kennedy and her group chiming in. Yes, they have input in the show. So it must be, I mean, I hope this leads to Jon Favreau taking over Star Wars and taking it somewhere where a new generation can enjoy it. That's going to be a giant uphill battle, because all that said and done, Kathleen Kennedy's still there. Pablo Hidalgo's still there. And that building at Lucasfilm is filled with people who don't like you, who don't like me, just because whatever. For us calling out their bullshit and trying to make the Force female when the Force is egalitarian. But I was discussing this with Doomcock in the Inquisition. And yeah, Star Wars is in better shape than Star Trek and Doctor Who because of the Mandalorian. But it just means it's alive. But Luke and Han are dead meme. Star Wars is kind of a dead meme. They're dead characters. They're dead memes. I saw Doomcock's video this morning where he said that only 40,000 people watched the Mandalorian season opener on Disney Plus. And I did the math on that. Oh, my phone's not in front of me. That is, there's 60 million subscribers at Disney Plus, and that means if that is true, which that number seems very ridiculously low to me. That is 0.07% of your audience watched it on the first day. Now, was that number taken in the first hour of their release? Because I talked about this. They release weekly, which is good. They need to now release at a regular time in the afternoon, like a normal TV show. This releasing in the middle of the night is fucking stupid. So you know what their logic is? Amazon used to release at midnight and then over Eastern. So everybody on the West Coast got to see it at 9:00. And people complained on the East Coast that the West Coast people were seeing it early. So that went through the whole streaming services, and then they started dropping it at different times. So nobody got priority because a few people on the East Coast complained about not getting priority. Although the East Coast, sorry, you've been getting priority forever on TV. So quit your bitching, in my opinion. And I think it should be released at the same time. Like Star Trek Discovery, shitty as it was released at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. That's what they should do. So now they're releasing their show when the least amount of people are going to watch it. That is the dumbest thing I have ever heard. It's like we've got our most expensive show with our most popular character, Baby Yoda. I got an idea because a few people complained on the East Coast. Let's release it at 3:12 in the morning so the least amount of people can watch it. I'm a genius. Fuck. Hollywood's filled with dumb people. I mean, it's been on display for quite some time. So how do I feel? You got a lot out of that super chat, buddy. I think it's more of the same. But the fact that they haven't fired Gina Carano, they stood their ground with her, and now the show is being called transphobic. And let's keep in mind, Gina Carano's never been transphobic, ever. Ever, ever. She didn't want to put pronouns in her Twitter profile. And I know there's some viewers out there going, what? Because Twitter's not the world? That's right. If a few people on Twitter tell you to put pronouns in your profile to show your allegiance to 0.04% of the population, you are a transphobe. You're not, by the way. That's ridiculous. You're not denying anybody's agency or humanity. That's your Twitter bio. And you know what? The kind of person Gina probably is a normal person. When somebody starts demanding shit and pointing their finger in your face, you don't respond well to that kind of stuff. And you tend to do the opposite. You know what? It's a big difference to ask nicely. Or you know what? Mind your fucking business, because it's her Twitter profile. And it's all started because Pedro Pascal put them in his. I heard. We got XNL493 for $5 says, I heard you hired a Salvadorian woman. I did. Thanks for taking care of a compatriot, my man. You are quite welcome. She was fucking incredible. I mean, like, I could leave the store alone with her and not have to worry about a fucking thing. I could leave her in charge for a week and not have to worry about a thing. She took the initiative. I didn't have to tell her what to do all the time. One of the best employees I've ever had. Tomorrow. Phantom Boomer for $5. At least I know I have a nice map of the states I will be relocating to. There you go. Yes, it's color coded to eliminate our confusion. Oberon for $5. Seen the Songbird trailer yet? About Koof, and it's a Michael Bay produced movie out 2021. Also with Dark Crystal over, is Farscape dead? Maybe. Yeah, I think Dark Crystal ending crushed any hopes of Farscape coming back. I think so. And the Koof movie. Maybe we can do a double feature of the Koof movie and the Gamergate movie. That would be something else. Stay hydrated, kid, says back to reality for $4.99. No kidding. One moment. Oh, yeah. Yang was our last hope, says Aurora Borealis for $2. Andrew Yang? Maybe. That Tulsi Gabbard wasn't bad. She got the shaft, for lack of a better term. Andre Fernandez for 50 Argentinian dollars. Gary, U.S. sent men to the moon, invented internet, but cannot create a good way to vote. Sharpies? It reminds me of our Latin America. Please don't fall. Oh, we won't. The reason we have to do that, for one, it should not be pen. It was, what happened to pencil? Oh, because it could be erased. Because there is massive voter fraud in this country, like massive. And it has been going on for a long, long time. And it's organized. I can't get too far into it. Let's just say, and each state's allowed to do their own thing, and that's a good thing. federal mandates are not what I'm down with. A big winner of 2020 is centralized government, and I think that makes all of us a big loser, even you guys across the ponds and oceans. Dolores Ed, what's up, buddy, for $4.99. The Game of Thrones series ended like crap, but at least it was an ending. That's more than George has done for his books. Hail. That is true. And the worst thing of all is there are kernels of truth in that ending. Like, Jon will kill Daenerys. That's going to happen. That's a fixed point in time, Doctor Who fans. Bran will become king. Fixed point in time. Euron will kill a dragon. Fixed point in time. But there's going to be no Night King. The Night King, there will be no Night King. Alexander Bayona Strauss the ending of the book could piss off people just as much. Alexander Bayona Strauss for $5. Everything these days are beginning to end. Writing equally is dead. Oof. In a lot of things, yes. I mean, reading George's books compared to others, it's that's a problem I have. You know, it's hard for me to go down from like Tolkien and Martin to even King. Like, it's Crazy Cat Guy, thank you for the ice cream for $1.49. We got The Expanse coming out in a little over a month. That might be good. We'll see. I mean, I would say it's guaranteed, but it's 2000, it's post 2016. So I don't know, man. I just don't even know anymore. I hope not. I am excited though. I'm still excited. Fat Steven Seagal beat up Rianne Johnson for 2 Canadian pesos. DC Comics never knew secular Jewish social activist hero. I don't understand what you're trying to say there. Elaborate a little bit. You can elaborate in the chat, Fat Steven Seagal, but I'm a little slow. DC Comics new. Oh, it's a new. Okay, I got to read it right. So DC Comics new secular Jewish socialist activist hero. Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. We're going to get to that in just a moment. My bad. US out, CCP in. We really need to have Doomcock either launch his invasion or release Harvey after this week. Well, my kids are still alive. That's the problem. We can't have him do that. Let's see if there's another couple articles here. Hang on. Jane Foster has new powers in female Thor. Oh, yeah, Battlestar. We got to go to Battlestar. Hey, did you guys notice my thumbnail? If you look at it real good, look at the face. And you might notice that it doesn't look like Dirk Benedict. I thought I'd be able to find a picture, but I didn't. So I made one. I morphed Katie Sackhoff's face with Dirk Benedict. For a little part of my thumbnail, I worked on that for like way too long probably. But apparently they wanted to have a non-binary Starbuck, because when you can't gender swap, then just erase the gender, I guess. This is fucking stupid. Rumor, Peacock, the network that had to cancel a show already, Battlestar Galactica series, looking for non-binary actor to play Starbuck. Here we go. A rumor claims that NBC Universal Peacock is looking to cast a non-binary actor to play Starbuck in an upcoming Battlestar Galactica series. The rumor comes from Emery Kaya at the Vulcan Reporter, who also revealed casting descriptions of both Starbuck and Adama. The descriptions for Starbuck reads, a gifted Viper pilot with an attitude that has hindered her career in the colonial fleet, physically fit female between the age of 25 and 30. So they're making it a female again. There's nothing out of the ordinary. Starbuck was gender swapped in 2003 Battlestar Galactica reboot, where the character was called Kara Thrace and portrayed by Katie Sackhoff. In the original 1978 version, I know. Given Battlestar Galactica already has a history of gender swapping characters, it's no surprise that this rumor from the Vulcan Reporter has details that the character was going to get race swapped as well. Kaya claims that Kiersey Clemens was previously attached to the role of Starbuck. In fact, Kaya goes on to claim that she landed the role, but before the coup shut down back in March. But she ultimately left the project in favor for her role as Iris West in the upcoming Flash movie. With Clemens allegedly excited about the role, the casting director for the show appeared to take the casting a step further, as Kaya claims, searching for non-binary actors to play Starbuck. As for Adama, he's described as battle-hardened, securely minded commander on the eve of retirement from himself for himself and his combat-decorated old Battlestar male between age 50 and 60 years old. So they're just remaking the series now? I thought it wasn't a remake. I am so confused by what they're fucking doing with Battlestar Galactica. So you're remaking it for a third time, and you're going to do a movie. Commander Adama was originally portrayed by Lauren Green in 1978. The character was reimagined. We know that. Kaya claims the actor Liam Cunningham was eyed for the role of William Adama, though a deal was never made and auditions are not taking place anymore. No other details regarding the casting of Adama are revealed. Information about Peacock's new Battlestar Galactica series has slowly been made available since it was announced in September of 2019. The most recent update came in August when NBC Universal's president and original content and data to consumer Bill McGoldrick, we'll just say Golddick. Bill Golddick spoke to Deadline. Golddick said, I have seen an outline that we're excited about. It's obviously a big undertaking, and we're aware of the importance of the IP, and we're being pretty deliberate, but it's processing nicely. So you saw an outline. You want to cast a non-binary character, and you just want to remake Ronald Moore's Battlestar. That's what you want to do. What you should be doing is remaking the original, true to the original. And maybe you'll have a chance if you don't woke the shit out of it. Oh, wait a minute. This is different now. What happened to Sam Esmail's version? So he also stated that Battlestar Galactica comes with a great deal of responsibility, and we want to do it great service. The show is being helmed by showrunner Michael Leslie, who was reportedly working on a script and was expected to deliver it to Golddick within a couple of months. After getting the script approved, Deadline claimed he would be putting together a writer's room. I thought Sam Esmail was, okay. Oh, so he's overseeing it. Leslie was announced as showrunner back in May, where he told Deadline, I am beyond excited, blah, blah, blah. I'm really happy that I'm going to go fuck up a franchise. The teams at Esmail Corporation, UCP, and the Peacock are second to none. Well, actually, they're kind of 4th to 6 right now to a bunch, but that's not important right now. And I already know that we're going to honor Glenn A. Larson and Ronald D. Moore's landmark series and break new boundaries with our own vision. I love it when they talk about breaking boundaries in a remake. How can you break boundaries in a remake that broke boundaries unless you... As are you out there, hit your clown horn for me, buddy. Just a couple of times. I'll hear it in my head. It's a dream come true to fuck up somebody else's franchise that almost fucked up somebody else's franchise, but didn't. One I just can't wait to share with fans, new and old alike. So say we all, Leslie added. Oh. Here's Sam Esmail when he first got the series. Battlestar Galactica fans, this will not be a remake. Right here. This will not be a remake of the amazing series Ronald D. Moore launched because why mess with perfection? Instead, we'll explore a new story within the mythology while staying true to the spirit of Battlestar. So say we all. Sam Esmail is a liar. I'm glad John put that tweet in there. Was it John? Yeah, it was John F. Trent. Bounding into Comics, John F. Trent, by the way. Thank you. I really love Battlestar Galactica. If you would have asked me, I mean, it's in my top 5 all-time favorite shows. I own it. I haven't watched it in a little while. I've got a bunch of the action figures put away somewhere, and they're hard to find. So, and they're also hard to find in my storage. So it's kind of hard to find and hard to find. And I don't know what to tell you. They like, it's a diverse show already. Like, maybe they could make this one without any white people. And then they'll say, we're breaking ground. I mean, Adama can be black. I don't care about that. I could care less about that. But you already made Starbuck. Oh, I know what Apollo will be a woman too. And then she'll be in a lesbian relationship with the, well, it's not, is it lesbian when you're, I see I'm confused. With the non-binary Star Trek. But if you do gender fluid and non-binary and they have sex with each other, then they make a straight person. I'm just kidding. Back to you, chat. Back to you. All right. Just make new things, says Eric Vulgate. I agree. For $5, I absolutely agree. Klein Dropper for $5. US. Okay. So, yeah, I don't know if any big news has happened yet, and I'm not paying attention until after the stream. But if you guys notice it, that's cool. Sad news on 007, so close to Connery's passing. I wonder how many Sean Connerys of the world we will never know about. Geniuses that will be turned down by current Hollywood for being too masculine. Dan Vask for 10 rubles? Yeah, they said in that article, for a James Bond movie, we're moving away from toxic masculinity. And you know they mean masculinity, not just toxic masculinity, which is just being an asshole, which means, well, if we're moving away from people being assholes, that's not going to make for good drama. Toxic masculinity makes for good drama, good storytelling. I'm not saying act like it in real life, but if you're not going to portray it in a movie or a TV show, it's going to be bland people sitting at dinner tables being bland together. But they'll be well represented. Well represented. Crazy Cat Guy for $10. Heard that super chat about the guy unsubbing because of your negativity. Well, I'm here for the long haul, and I appreciate your negativity. LOL. Here's some cheddar for the coffee and enjoy. Why, thank you. Crazy Cat Guy, it is his prerogative, and I'm not going to diss him on the way out the door. Thank you very much. But yeah, I mean, people unsub for whatever reasons, and I'm sorry to hear it. I don't like to see anybody go. I am, but you know, I haven't live streamed in 2 days. So I don't know. I've been doing this the way I've been doing it for a while now. And maybe there's something else going on. I don't know, but I'm not going to, because here's the deal. You try to win them back. That's the best you can do. You try to win them back, and if you can't, you can't. You can't. But I'm not going to diss somebody out the door who was subbed for a while. Black Tiger 001 for 5 Canadian pesos. I'm writing my own comics and want to get a sensitivity reader because I'm becoming too sensitive. They make me watch 90s action movies and get me a steak. Okay. You need to get your own reader because you're being too sensitive. And you want them to go get you a steak? Okay, that's good. Steak sounds good. Thank you for the 5 Canadian pesos, Black Tiger 001. Cam for $2. I'm late. Sean Connery dies and now Bond is a girl? Yes. Basically. 007 is female, but I think she is going to die in the movie. I do. James 1066, welcome to the proto-molecule level. Members stream on Sunday. Thank you. John Daly for $4.99. Since new Star Trek sucks, why don't they ever hire the writers from the original Next Generation? Because they're all superior to the writers they have now. And they will not hire writers who know what they're doing. They want writers they can control. Because Alex Kurtzman is the least talented person in the building. That's a big problem when it's your boss, though. And obviously he's got quite the ego that he can't really have people who are more talented than him in the building. It makes him feel bad and self-conscious. Remember, he had a writing partner named Roberto Orsi, who was the actual Star Trek fan. RM10 for $10. Woke Migo corporations go on about systematic racism, probably to distract us from scrutinizing their own ungodly and corrupt systems. Omega. Why did I say Migo? Back. Woke mega corporations go out on about systematic racism, probably to distract us from scrutinizing their own ungodly and corrupt systems of manipulation they use to perpetuate their abuse of public. RM for $10. Yep. It is all a distraction. It's all a ruse. That's why, listen, I don't think this is a forever job, at least on this platform. But I'll go as long as I can, and I appreciate it because it really has helped. Damn, sent you my tangent on Mando. LOL, sorry. No, send it to me. There's plenty to be. Here's with Mando, there is Mandalorian. If you want to nitpick the Star Wars stuff, that's good. We got to remember that's what we want. That's what we want. There's no identity politics, and it wasn't woke. So I'm judging it simply on that, and it's getting a better score simply on that. It does need to get better, more sophisticated, and it will not save Star Wars, but it's a good stopgap. It kept it from completely dying. That's what it did. It kept it from, it's got it in ICU or wherever. It's got a heartbeat because of Mando and because of Baby Yoda, but it is not great television, and it's not great Star Wars, but it's still the best thing Disney has done, and it's not filled with identity politics and woke as hell, which we got to be thankful for. Thank you so much for this much needed stream today. We need the distraction. Love you. You're welcome, Lori Wilson. Love you too. Thank you for the $15. Listen, whatever's going on, it's an election. It'll be over again in 4. We'll be back to another one in 4 years, maybe sooner. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on right now either. Because I can't fold up. I spent too much time watching it yet last night. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like whatever happens, and then I'll deal with that. One day, but like what I'm doing does not stop. does not change in any way, shape, or form. It's never been affected by this channel's been around for a long time. It hasn't been this big for a long time, but it's been around for a long time. So when this channel started, Obama was president. So but you are welcome, Lori. 200 Watt Studio for $2. Expanse Season 4 Blu-ray releases December 15th. Oh, cool. And they give you like a whole day to watch it before the new season starts. But that's cool. At least we're getting it. That Nobody Guy for $5. Ex-felons should have all their rights reinstated upon release. Voting, 2A, public office, etc. Nerdrotic 2024. Thank you, That Nobody Guy. I appreciate that. Yeah, I believe after a certain amount of time, the Second Amendment should be back. Yeah, yeah, because I've been released for over 25 years. And there's rights I still don't have and will never have for the rest of my life. I don't think that's fair, but I have accepted that. And there's always ways around rules, aren't there? Joan T. Levine for £5. I doubt George R. R. Martin faced pressure from his publisher to censor A Song of Ice and Fire. He can publish what he wants. He's George R. R. Martin. Far more likely, in my opinion, to be self-censorship. John T., I agree. I think that's entirely what it is. 1,000% agree with you. George is censoring himself, which kills creativity. DKE721 for $20. Hey, did you ever read any Jack Vance? If not, check it out. Some of the best sci-fi and fantasy I've ever read. It's Cuggle the Clever stories are just begging to be adapted into a graphic novel. I've not read Jack Vance, but I'll check it out. Thank you. I will put that on my lista. Rebel Squadron for $5. Son of a bleep. I am working on this story right now. Throws computer out the window. I was thinking last night, it was funny just on the California proposition, like the COOF has changed everything so much. So there's a California proposition which raises taxes on commercial business, which sounds all well. And you got to be a business worth more than $3 million. And then it was supposed to bring in $12 billion on the state. And it's a test, by the way, to hit private property owners. So we have a Proposition 13 where they can't fuck with our property tax too much, but they've been dying to do it for years and years and years and years and years. So our houses, our tax, if you're a homeowner in California, your tax is based on your, it's assessed value, but they assess pretty fairly. Like they take it easy on you. Okay. So they don't assess it at current value, but they want to do that with commercial businesses now, meaning they want to start doing that with houses next, which sounded great in a good economy. Sounds like a great idea. For the state of California. I voted against it, by the way, because I'm against all tax hikes because taxation is theft. But it sounded great in a good economy until the economy tanked. And I bet you the most Googled thing in Sacramento last night was, how do we cancel a proposition? Because it literally flipped the proposition now. Because if it passed, and I don't know if it passed, then the businesses will get taxed on their assessed value, will be fucking worthless in a year. So they might pay off for them because of work from home. And all the commercial real estate is just at the bottom is going to completely fall out, because honestly, and maybe it needed to happen because there are certain businesses you just don't need to go to work. Honestly, my Technicolor job could have done it from home more efficiently on a better computer. There's certain things I could have gone into the office for, but, So a bunch of tech companies in San Francisco have just figured out they don't need to rent giant or own giant buildings. Twitter is subleasing their building which is a first sign of a business moving out, by the way. And other big, there's other empty buildings there now too. And it's going to create a rent crisis. There was also a rent control bill on the ballot, which won't be very necessary anymore either. To extending rent control though. And rent control is crazy. This is why I'm not renting my house and I'm selling it. Not that there shouldn't be things like tenant rights, because there should, because tenants do get fucked over. All right. But, it's a slippery slope, because in San Francisco, you have to pay for a tenant's relocation fee in some cases. What? The last episode ever of Doctor Who was Twice Upon a Time, Capaldi's Swan Song in 2017. I don't understand why people act like the show is still continuing. The canon has concluded, says Darth Gorbag for 1212. Yes. Cam for $2. Thank you for the donation. Magoli 67 for 5,000 yen. Hail, Gary. Gonna run off to work. Have a good day. But some kimchi for your plate. We love Trump for his peace efforts. Oh, that's nice. And there you go. And kimchi. Thank you for the kimchi, as long as it's digital kimchi. I appreciate you. And have a good day at work. Enjoy. Out there in Japan, you're in Japan. Mrs. Nerdrotic loves it over there. She really does. Could they reboot the Dr. Donna and have success? Nicholas R. for $5.99. No, Catherine Tate is specifically that. That was a one-time for its time. Wouldn't work now. I don't think so. But good question. Thank you, Nicholas R. for $5.99 Australian. Thinking about how much money I am going to save by not having to watch any more Bond flicks. James BT 2003 for $10. I've been saving a ton of money not buying comic books. I've been repurposing that money for Indiegogo projects and physical media. I've been buying a lot of physical media, just like like Blu-rays that are cheap, but it's got to be under a certain amount of money. It's got to be under like $7 or I won't touch them. Rebel Squadron for $5. My dad's been wrongfully, illegally imprisoned for 8 years. Whoa, what? Agree 100% that you should get your rights back once you've been paid your debt to society. If he's been in there for 8 years illegally and he gets out, they owe him ridiculous amounts of money. There's some lawyers. They were on Joe Rogan. And there's a couple of lawyers who are experts in that stuff. You should contact them if that's the case. I mean, I'm going in just on a super chat here. Yeah. Once you paid your debt to society, that should be it. I mean, there's also parole afterwards. That goes on for a while. Mine was only a year because I was a good boy. But after that, quite frankly, I had to lie a lot, and I didn't feel comfortable doing that. Like in recovery, I had to lie on my applications. And thankfully, Tesla was the first company that didn't ask the question. Just flat out didn't ask the question. So I'm like, God, this is the first one I don't have to fucking lie on. This is great. But I'm not lying anymore. Just not. You actually get a tax credit if you hire an ex-felon. Big tax credit. Black Tiger 001 for 5 Canadian pesos. Zach was right. They will try to cancel you no matter what. Stay true to the canon and be good to fans. Since I'm the only fan so far, I'll write for me. There you go. Black Tiger, yes. And be true to the fans, even the ones who are mad, right? Like the guy who, gave me a super chat to unsub. It's like, I'm sorry. But good luck. Good luck in the future. No hard feelings. None whatsoever. I get you. The keeper of tracking. Okay. Let's get to the chat a little bit. We're at 2 hours and I'll go for a couple more minutes here. Let's get to Lori Wilson. Major respect here. Oh, thank you, Lori. I appreciate it. You think maybe if we buried all Disney Star Wars books and dug them up 10 years, would they be better? Moot point. moot point, that's a good point because things do sometimes get better with age. Look at the prequels. But the prequels got better with age for the reasons are twofold. All right. There's a generation that actually watched them, of young children that actually watched them and enjoyed them because they were made for an age range. Like Star Wars, the original Star Wars was made for an age range of 10 to 10 and up. The prequels, 13 and up. The prequels were made for like 7 and up. And that's a big difference. It's like why there's like people like The Goonies. The Goonies is not a good movie. It's not. I saw it as a teenager and I like it for what it is, but it's not that great of a movie, but it really did capture a generation of kids. And the prequels did that as well. So I understand that. That's not going to happen with the Disney trilogy because it doesn't even have that soul in it because there was nothing for kids really in it. That it was supposed to be a way to hook old Star Wars fans and bring in new ones. And it just degraded as time went on. And I don't think the Disney books, none of that will be dug up and looked at fondly because a franchise only gets one chance and Star Wars was big enough. It got 2. It's not going to get 3. And quite frankly, if you want to dig up some books that are brilliant, Dark Horse comic books, read those Dark Horse Star Wars comic books. That's when people who loved Star Wars with a company who respected its license knew what the fuck they were doing. Dark Horse is a damn good comic book company. Probably one of the best all time, in my opinion, as far as publishers are concerned. As far as we're not going to put out a bunch of shit, we're going to put out quality books at a limited pace. And yeah, it reflects the owner. Okay. So if you want to ask me what I think the best publisher or my favorite publisher is, it's probably Dark Horse. As far as the professional publishers, I still purchase Dark Horse comics. I will always purchase Dark Horse comics. Hellboy was one of my favorite characters and they come from the Pacific Comics era, and that was kind of my bag back in the 80s. So, but I don't think they'll do that with Star Wars. But man, the way they treated their properties back in the day when Colorcraft was working on the books, the first digital colors, that stuff's the shit. It stands up today. It is brilliant. And you can get it cheap. Without the spirit of the law, all things are lost, says Neon. So we'll just say Neon. Yeah. Yeah. What I said earlier was when one side cheats, the other side cheats, then everybody starts cheating. Then it's corrupt and broken. And you know who loses? People who don't cheat. Because there's a fucking lot of us who don't cheat. Now, you don't have to be pure. Nobody asks you to be pure. You cut a little corner here. You do a California stop here, there, whatever. You download from Tortuga one thing a month. Nobody's going to freak out over that, okay? That's not what we're talking about. Wolfsbane 00 for $5. The best thing in my recommended these past few days were Batman the Animated Series, Justice League, and Justice League Unlimited, especially when Batman reveals he could sing. All the Justice League Unlimited is one of the most underrated cartoons. It is right up there with the animated series as far as storytelling. Just fucking spot on, brilliant storytelling. And that episode was Superman beating the shit out of Darkseid was just good. It's so good. Massive hail to Geeks and Gamers, Fandom Menace, CG, Lord Doomcock, and the Coral Reef. Too many others to name. You'll be my new entertainment sources. Hail, Black Tiger 001. Hail to you. Thank you very much for the 5 Canadian pesos. That nobody gives the cupper back at you. God bless you and your family, Gary, from Blind Jack for 5 Canadian pesos. Thank you very much. And back at you. And no matter what happens, folks, We got each other, and there's a lot of fucking work to do. So there's no time for black pills. No time for black pills. And, hey, we might be covering some pretty good stuff with The Expanse, and we'll see what tomorrow brings. We'll see what tomorrow brings because, yeah, there he goes. Thanks, man. Goonies forever. See, there is a group of people who just love that movie, and that's great. Thank you, Rebel Squadron, for $2. So I'll end it with this. By the way, subscribe to Nerdrotic Live. Subscribe here if you haven't already. Thank you if you have already subscribed. I do appreciate you. Thank you to all the new members. We got 4 of them today. We had over 30,000 people watching today, which is brilliant on a very distracting day. Again, I have no idea what's going on right now. So, and I'm fine. I'm going to go eat and go work out. This will be on Nerdrotic Live in a couple of hours. I'll see if I can squeeze in an Exozone tomorrow since people are looking for the distraction and see if I can throw one together. I'll try. I also will be reviewing Star Trek Discovery in the morning sometime, short little review. Then Critical Drinker on Friday Night Tights this Friday, which is going to be brilliant. And I'm really sorry, UK. I'm sorry. So, yeah, the least I can do is try to entertain you as much as I can while you're locked down. And if you decide not to, I wouldn't blame you. But I can't say stuff like that. So I'm just saying I wouldn't blame you. That's all. That's all. Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. Perry Chan, somebody I will be talking to tomorrow. You have a great night, sir. Mark Lizette, thank you for your wrench. Douglas Nelson, thank you for your wrench. And Eric K. Chris Persia, the Canadian wrench. And who else did we have here? Who else did we have here? That's it. That's it. So thank you to the Modrotics. If I missed one, Nyla Shadow or something like that, I'm sorry. Thank you to everyone who has super chatted. You keep the lights on and keep this show going. We appreciate you. And I'll see you tomorrow. So have a good one and look out for, I may or may not release that video. I've got to I got to feel like what YouTube is doing right now. And then we'll see if that video goes out or not. It might get retooled into something else. And yes, the Picard review is coming out. It's just going to take a lot of work. So remember, not all who wander are lost. May the wings of liberty never lose a feather, and this too shall pass.
Nerdrotic.com.
Why are you still here? Oh, probably because I have the stream running. But look at that. Okay, look on the right before you go, because I worked on that. That's my face mashup of Katie Sackhoff and Dirk Benedict. Pretty good, huh? Not bad. Not bad for like 10 minutes work. Check you guys later.